Welcome back, folks. Today I wanted to make a guide video instead because I've been getting a lot of questions over the past few days on how to beat the third and fourth boss and how to survive in the mountain biome. So today we're going to be breaking it down very quickly, all in one go. So let's start with the Bonemass Boss. This is the one that you should encounter after you've beaten the Elder, taken the swamp keys that he drops, and headed to the swamp biome. It's a good idea to use the swamp keys to open the dungeon and start harvesting some iron out of there. That's one of the main places you'll be mining this ore. For the boss himself and his miniature blobs, they are weak to blunt damage if you're able to make yourself some iron maces or maybe even an iron sledge, but the best thing to do is to focus them down from afar. Now at first myself and my whole server thought that this boss was weak to fire damage, but actually they're weak to frost arrows and strong against fire. This means that you have to travel to the mountain biome and gather the resources to prepare for this fight. Now luckily you can do this fight with a couple people and some fine wood bows. You can get the fine wood from birch trees, which are the skinny white ones that you find out in the world. When you're ready to make the trip to the mountain biome, here's the main thing you need to know. The mountain is filled with dangerous creatures like wolves, flying drakes, and stone golems. At nighttime, you'll find that just like in other biomes, the mobs become more and more aggressive and more dangerous. On top of that, you'll also start seeing the werewolf mobs spawn. And yes, they are a thing. Best practice is to travel only by daytime, bring materials for campfires and possibly bonfires, and potentially frost potions until you can get your hands on some wolf armor, which I will touch on in a bit. Now the winter biome has dynamic weather too, where sometimes you'll find yourself traveling through a blizzard. During this time, all campfires will go out, but the bonfires will still burn. Now when it's clear skies, you can set up a line of campfires and be just fine, because as soon as you enter the winter biome, you'll start taking damage from the cold if you have nothing to combat it. The frost potion is harder to make, because first you'll need a cauldron which will take bars of tin, then you'll need to ferment it which takes 45 minutes and the station requires bronze, and you'll also need the materials for it like honey from the beehives you can make, blood bags from leeches that spawn in the swamp, and a few other minor materials. Once you're in the frost biome, you need to look for metal nodes called obsidian. These take an iron pickaxe to gather, so make sure you make that before you come up here. Next after that, you need to kill the flying drakes. They'll drop drake trophies which can later be used for wolf armor, and also freeze glands that you will use for frost arrows. Make sure to save the materials that you get from killing the wolves too. That'll also help to make wolf armor, which is a good upgrade over iron. Once you have these, take obsidian, freeze glands, and some wood and head to a workbench to make the frost arrows. Make sure your workbench is at least level 4. Get a couple hundred of these for good measure, and then you're ready for the Bonemass Boss. To find the actual boss, you'll need to keep exploring dungeons until you find the runestone that reveals its location. Or you might get lucky and come across it right away. It takes 10 withered bone to summon it, which you can get from mobs in the swamp biome. Also make sure you build a forward operating base in the swamp because it can be a very unpredictable terrain and you want to make sure you control this fight. It should take about 15 minutes or less, and with these frost arrows, you will down that boss and take victory. The boss will drop what is known as a wishbone, and one should drop per person currently on your server. Now the wishbone is going to allow you to obtain silver armor. This is how. You probably noticed that above ground, on the mountain, obsidian seems to be the only metal node. This is because silver is actually underground and you need to dig down to it. You can equip the wishbone and go through the mountain biomes and it will act as a metal detector. When you start getting close to silver nodes, your character will begin flashing green and you'll hear beeps the closer you get to it. When you're right on top of it, start digging down and make a hole. The silver ore looks very similar to rock, so make sure to keep hovering your cursor around. Once you start gathering it and you're ready, you'll finally start getting the recipes for wolf armor. Make sure by this point you already have some wolf trophies saved up. You'll be using them for the cloak along with the silver and a few other minor components. After that, make yourself the cloak and you will officially have all the frost resistance you need for now. You'll be able to walk through the mountain without a frost potion, even during a blizzard, and any other wolf armor you get will add to that even more for upcoming content. And then we finally have the dragon. You don't need any massive upgrades for this, just the iron armor you have along with the cloak, but some wolf armor will definitely help here too. Make sure you make the best possible food you can, stock up on a lot of fire arrows, get some materials for a forward operating base, and even materials to make a portal if you can. Portals take fine wood, surtling cores that come from skeleton dungeons or the fire mobs in the swamp, and the grey dwarf eyes. The way portals work is you can put one down at your main base, press E on it to name it something like dragon, then go to the dragon summoning location, place a portal nearby, and name it dragon as well. This will come in handy for gathering resources and all things in Valheim as well. Now finding the dragon is a different story. First you need 3 dragon eggs which weigh over 200 pounds per item. You'll need to cart them to a boat or forward operating base near the dragon before you can prepare to summon. You'll find the dragon eggs in the mountain biome too. Now the runestone to reveal the dragon's location works a little bit different than the Bonemass. You need to find specific mountain biomes that go up much higher than regular ones. Or you might also just come across the dragon summon's location randomly. Once you find the runestone, the dragon's location will be revealed. I really hope it's in a good spot for you, but since the game is procedurally generated, the method of getting there and survival will be up to you. Now once you place the 3 dragon eggs, you can tap the sacrificial altar and the fight begins. Make sure you start shooting the dragon immediately, otherwise you might risk it flying away. For the mechanics, he will start off flying through the sky around you and shooting frost-based crystal projectiles. Frost resist potions will come in handy for this fight. Periodically, he will land on the ground and start chasing you to use Dragon's Breath, or melee you in the face. Keep rinsing and repeating while using fire arrows and eventually you will down this boss. He drops dragon tears that will allow you to build new benches which you can utilize to get black metal weapons and armor from the desert biome. The power you unlock for sacrificing the Bonemass trophy gives you and everyone around you physical resistance, and the dragon power lets you always have the wind in your sail while steering a ship. Hopefully this helps you a bit. Thanks so much for watching and have a wonderful night or day. Farewell.